Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's lesson, which is going to be about psychology. Psychology is another major player to Forex, which is one of the biggest reasons why people fail. They let their psychology play with them. They let their mind play with them. And they do things they normally wouldn't do if a logical situation was arising, and they lose their money. One of the most common things to do is you have to keep a very disciplined attitude and be very disciplined in trading to make sure you have success and be a master of your psychology. So what I've done is give you guys a quick checklist here of what to be prepared for with your psychology and trading and why we're going to do it. So number one is don't trade when major news hits. Now what this means is because no matter what you're going to be analyzing, whatever we're going to be going over, news can bring the markets in crazy ways, and it can basically destroy your trade, especially if you're doing a small scalp with a small tight stop loss. So whenever there's major news coming, I'll usually avoid and wait to enter my trades until after it. This so you do not get confused by the market, you don't get scared or psyched out, and you don't try to trade it thinking you're going to be in the right way and accidentally losing a lot of money. I just stay out of news because it's not the game that we play. Number two is never enter or take out a trade early. This is very important. If you've missed your entry, you just want to look for another trade, because entering late could also result in too much of a drawdown for you. And also, if you take out your trade early, you can be missing on the profits. So that's why we have stop loss and take profits that we keep and that we follow, is because that is a way that we'll actually be able to know and grow our account properly. If we risk 2% and take out at 0.5%, that doesn't make any sense. We want to make sure we go the whole time. Number three is never move your stop loss past your 2%. Some people, they think, oh, I'm going to keep on going, They keep on moving it from, 2%, 4, 6, 8, 10, and all of a sudden you lose 10% on a bad trade. It's going to take you a few good trades to just make that back. So it's very important to never move your stop loss past where you decide from it, unless you already have a section where you could move and want to be that person that's risking 4%. But I would never move it more than once over to 4%. That is a max I would ever risk. And then again, if that goes wrong, stop for the day and wait for another day to trade, because that's already 4% risk for the day. Another one is never listen to social media for advice. One of the biggest things that I've learned is people can say everything, and on social media, 50% of people will be right and 50% will be wrong, and that'll be 50% of the time for every time. It's all about what you do, and this is why you want to learn to trade, is because you want to be the master and you want to decide what you're going to do, and only you. So don't listen to social media. None of those are billionaires and millionaires from Forex. So you don't want to take their advice on trading, especially if they're not trading it themselves. Another one is only listen, which basically follows into this one, only listen to trades that follow your strategy analysis. If someone tells you to take a trade, you're not going to take it unless you can mark it up and see your same strategy, seeing the same thing as they say. Then that'd be the type of trades that you'd want to take in, but you never listen to anyone unless you see the analysis yourself or do it yourself. Another one is watch out for fake outs or market makers. That's when you're about to place a trade and you see it spike immediately in the wrong direction. You're freaking out. And you want to exit your trade. But again, that might be the fake out to hope that you're going to do that. And then it just starts going, again, the next candle in the right direction, and you're in massive profit. So watch out for those. Don't fall trap of it whatsoever. That's why we don't enter things super quick. We look for our analysis. Another one is don't go into any trade off impulse. That's, again, what I was mentioning was you don't want to go into trade just because you see it spike in any direction. You want to go off of your analysis, because just because it spikes doesn't mean anything. Candles can change constantly. And again, candles won't be completed until they're actually closed. So you never want to actually enter a candle mid-trade or trade off impulse. Another one is if there's no analysis, you don't take the trade. Basically just reiterating what all this is talking about. If you don't mark it up and you don't have the analysis, there's no trade that you're going to take. I don't care if you're looking on your phone and say, oh, this might seem good just from staring at the chart. Do your full analysis on TradingView before you take a trade. Another one, if the market isn't lining up how you want, you leave the market. If things are not making the head and shoulders, or you're going to talk about that, or any of the markups that you're seeing, if they're not doing any of the markups or confluences that you're wanting to do, just leave the market, because that's not a good day to trade. There's nothing worse, even though you could trade every day, there's nothing worse than entering a day you didn't need to and losing money. Because yes, you can make money in the market every day, but you could also lose. So walk away those days. It just doesn't look good. Don't revenge trade as well. If you've ever traded a few trades and you've lost, don't risk more than that 4 or 6% a day. You want to stay very consistent. And if you start risking more and you lose 10% a day because you revenge traded and lost even more, that is not the smart way to do. Now, lastly, of course, only re-enter if less than 4% is lost and the market follows your analysis. So if you did have some trades that go wrong and you are under that 6% of the trade of the day or risk of the day, you could enter it again if you feel like it's going to be going and your analysis is still correct, but don't just enter because it hit your stop loss. Remark up the charts completely and see if you see something new and then follow it that way. Because, once a market basically moves at least 50 pips in a direction, that's basically stating that it's the new trend for it. So always keep that in mind. So this is some tips on psychology to help your mind around just the basic rules you want to avoid, things you want to watch out that are basically your tricks. And basically, again, what does it all boil down to? And people ask, what does it boil down to? It all boils down to discipline. It all boils down to psychology is something that if you can leave at the door when you come into trading, that will be the best. You want to follow your strategy and nothing else. So that is the key to psychology in Forex. People ask, the key is to not even have a psychology, have it at the door and be a very strict, disciplined strategy trader. And that's how you're going to make money. So until next time, guys, thank you and have a good day.